I am Naomi to propose as the affirmation of today's motion. This House supports the rise of unschooling. Unschooling is different from normal school. Here, the students are allowed to choose what they want to learn under the acknowledgement of their parents. This means that students have the freedom to choose what they want to learn, what they're passionate in, what they interest in. This is also different from normal schools where they have to learn with many students in class and a teacher. Here, students in unschooling learns privately with their own educators on one. And here is why this House proudly agrees to this motion. First is the effectiveness in studying and students' full potential that is used maximally. Talking about unschooling, we know that students are studying one-on-one with the lessons they select by themselves, meaning that every student in unschooling is learning the lesson they feel interested in. Unschooling is way more effective compared to a normal school because educators can focus to adjust the lesson to the student's ability, not the students catching up to the lessons. A real evidence that unschooling is more efficient is such as, for example, private lessons. Do you realize that most of the students who take private lessons aces in their academic grades? For example, a student who takes mathematics private lesson or a student who takes biology private lesson. They usually ace in their grades and they are high achievers. And do you realize most of students with certain skills outside their academical world, such as music or athletic sports, usually stand with their skills? It is because they take private lessons. This is a proof that private lesson is more efficient compared to teaching in a class with many students in a school. Private lessons have a similarity with unschooling because it means where the students are learning one-on-one with the educators, where students have to focus on the lesson and the educator only, not the distraction outside. This proves that students brings out their potential more when they are in a private lessons, where the educators are able to focus on their students maximally. This proves that unschooling is way more effective compared to normal school. So this is way better rather than slacking in a class where the teacher have to adjust to everyone in the class and there's many students who have to work up to catch up to their lesson. While students in unschooling can simply have the teacher to adjust to their lesson and study way more efficiently and maximally. Second, comfort in studying without facing social problems. Studying in a normal school has many problems, especially the social environment that builds up their character, the student's character. In a normal school, it is very common for students to face bullying and intimidation. Why? Due to the society they are in. And this is one of the reasons why many students are not able to show their full potential. Why? Because students' condition matters. Students' mental health impacts a lot on their grades. No one can study when they are facing problems. So as the students. So on the other side, in unschooling, students are only studying with their educators on one without any obstacles. Either it's the noisy class environment or social environment problems with other students. In normal public school, many crime cases are happening, such as physical bullying that often leads to death. If parents choose their child to have unschooling instead, we would not be worrying about this. Here, the students are able to focus on their study, not minding about the social problems that students in normal school usually faces. This is a very good evidence where parents have to choose unschooling for their children as they are able to maintain their child as they are studying at home with the educator. Their parents know the condition of their child better if they do unschooling compared to letting your children go to school in normal school, not knowing what kind of social problem that your child just faces. not knowing who did bully your child, for example. Lastly is for the advancement of Indonesia in education and many factors. This house supports the rise of unschooling because this would absolutely create advantages for our country. With these students and their full potential out, this does not make them to waste their time and effort in the lesson that they do not excel in. They don't need to care about the lesson they're not good at. They just need to focus on the lesson where they are good at, creating and letting out their maximal potential in the lesson they are good at. So if this continues to rise, Indonesia's citizen quality will increase. When students focus on where they're good at, this creates much more ensuring future for them. This means more job advantages in the future because they have more possibility to have proper jobs that are related to their interests, since they already have the skills in the lesson they are good at, they're interested in, because they're passionate about that. And this will create the higher human resource quality in Indonesia. Why? Because people in Indonesia will have higher quality because they only focus where they are good at. This means they have more advantages to have more job, and this leads to advancement of our country. And imagine, just because these students are able to study in what they're interested at, could create such a huge impact in Indonesia if it continues to rise. So, in conclusion, this is why this house is very eager to support the rise of unschooling, knowing how much advantages are obtained by students, educators, and even the country Indonesia. In summary, this house has come up with 3 strong arguments. First, effectiveness in studying and the students' full potential is used maximally. Second, comfort in studying without facing any social problems, either the noisy class or the social problems. Students do not need to care about that. All they need to care is about their educators and the lesson in unschooling. Lastly is for the advancement of Indonesia in education and many factors. Talking about education is the key of the advancement of a country. So once education is improved in a country, is improving, this will rubble to many factors such as economic condition and others. So this is a good sign of rising up of unschooling. There is no point of making students to study in a crowded class with lessons they're not even interested in. Instead, that will make education to go to waste and create downside. This is why until the end, this house proudly supports the rise of unschooling for the advancement of Indonesia. I am Naomi, proud to propose.